Hello once again, you absolute legends. Fletch here, presenting another Fletch Talks live stream, in which the main bulk of today's video is once again centering around the incredible transfer window that is unraveling before our very eyes at Liverpool Football Club. We're talking Luis Diaz. He's going to Bayern Munich. That is pretty much done, dusted, all but signed, sealed, and delivered, pending a medical, of course, and the tying up of loose ends. That deal is pretty much done and dusted as far as what we're concerned. Luis Diaz will become a Bayern Munich player this summer. We'll get into that a little later. But what could be unraveling is the bigger story in the follow-up to that is, of course, the situation involving Alexander Isak. The sale of Luis Diaz has reportedly now increased this snowballing momentum that this story is building, that Liverpool Football Club are on the verge of potentially putting in the first official bid, it seems. I think it's the first official bid anyway, of the Swedish striker. At least in this part of the story anyway. And that could be a big point in this story. May not necessarily be accepted. It may not be the bid that tilts the scales completely in Liverpool's favour. There might be some more talks, some more negotiations. But it seems that Liverpool are going all in for him. And it does seem that I mean, with everything seemingly pointing in that direction anyway, it does seem like I'd be very surprised if I was to sit here at the beginning of September, after the transfer window had closed, saying that Newcastle had managed to keep Alexander Isak. It seems Liverpool is his only destination of choice. It seems that Liverpool are the only ones that realistically and financially can obtain an Alexander Isak right now. I'd be very surprised if this story didn't materialize into being the real deal. But yet, only time will tell. But it does seem like things are going to be moving pretty quickly now that Luis Diaz is out the door. Like I say, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the Alexander Isak situation. And of course, anything that you guys want to talk about as well. Like I say, with all these videos and live streams, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content. And we'll be able to speak one day properly. Okay. Subscribe if you're new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course, get involved in the chat like a couple of you are doing already. Spirit of Liverpool Football Club fans, I hope you're doing well, my bro. I hope you are doing well. Welcome along to the stream. Lovely to have you along with us. I'm good, thank you, bro. I hope you are as well. Yes, exactly like what my man says right here. Like, comments, share, and subscribe, people. Really do appreciate all of that good stuff from you all. Absolute legends of the highest order, each and every single one of you. We need a centre-back. AC Milan has been getting exposed at the back. We need Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace for 40 million to beef up the defence. Canate is making mistakes and Gomez is always injured. Yeah, Gomez suffered another setback at the weekend. That's he just can't catch a break, that dude. He's so made of glass. It's so unfortunate. He just can't catch a break, it seems, unfortunately, for Joe Gomez. I'm not going to put too much stock into the second half of that game. We played Simicas as our centre-back, for God's sake. So I'm not putting too much stock into the second half particularly, but it does seem like if you are going to play against Liverpool this season, you are going to have to play as on the counter-attack, and you're going to have to make sure your decision-making is on point as well as your execution. So I agree with you. We do need to beef up our defence. I would assume that is where we're going to be looking at after Alexander Isak in particular. But of course, should negotiations drag on with Isak, we will definitely need to beef up that area ASAP. Is everything okay, by the way? Everything okay is in sound and everything? Just double checking because it just seemed a little bit strange. It might just be me. It might just be me. I'm not 100% sure on that. Might just be me that was a bit weird for. Just checking everything's plugged in properly. Well, good, I think. There we go. I did check it beforehand, but I don't know if I've moved something in the meantime. Moving on. Ekatike right wing, Isak number 9, Salah right wing, sub Gakpo, Rio Dams. We got some good prospects coming through, and I really want to see Rio and Gamoa in particular more and more this season. I really do. He looks terrifying. He looks absolutely terrifying. It looks like he's showing no fear. He looks like he's just enjoying his football, and that is how a youngster should be allowed to really make a name for themselves in any football team. Just look at Lamine Yamal right now. He's not tied down to a system. He's not being told to play in a specific way. He's just being told to go out there and play football. Now, of course, I'm not comparing Ngamoa to Lamine Yamal in the way of ability, potential, all of that stuff. Like, they can be two separate beings. Ngamoa has a lot of ability, a lot of raw talent, and of course, a lot of potential. Separately, Yamal has the same, if not more. But what I am saying is that in the way that he's being told to play his game, which is just go out there and enjoy yourself, I want to see us do that with Ngamoa this season. I want to see us give him more time, more opportunities, because at the end of the day, I've always said, doesn't matter how old you are. It really does not matter how old you are. If you are talented, if you've got the ability, if you've got the quality, and if you've got the attitude and mentality, you can make it at any level with any team. And we've already seen last season, for example, the likes of Miles Lewis-Skelly break through at 18 at Arsenal. We've seen Ethan Nwaneri, of course, same with Arsenal, 17, breakthrough there. We've seen the likes of Tyler Dibbling at Southampton breakthrough on a Premier League level. There are many youngsters that break through on a Premier League level. I would love for Ngamoa to be the next guy. Really would. But yeah, some exciting and intriguing prospects right there to be enjoying, or to be looking at and enjoying for our very eyes. When are we selling Tsimikas, Morton, Ramsey, Williams, Elliott, Doak, Chiesa and Nunez? It looks like Diaz is a done deal for Bayern Munich. Could be as we go further along in this transfer window, maybe our prices for these kinds of players may drop a little bit, which could be opportunistic for other teams that may be interested. I don't know. It's a bit weird because although there's been a lot of activity, there's not really been that much or that many player sales, especially from the bigger clubs, especially in the Premier League at least. And there's not really been too many sales. I mean, Liverpool have got a few out the door, of course, in the forms of like Kelleher, and now Diaz is gone, and you know, we sold Jarrell Kwanzaa as well for about 34 million or something along the line. So we've got a few out the door, but in terms of player sales, it's just a little difficult right now because I don't know, money elsewhere is just not how it used to be, and other teams are just finding alternatives elsewhere. Sorry, just reading about the Man United links to Benjamin Sesko. It doesn't look good for Newcastle. It looks like they might be rejected by another player this summer. We might get onto that a little later as well. Big up AR, love that you're here, my friend. Welcome along. He says that hi, Captain Fletch and chat. Hope you're all well. We're all good, man. Hope you are doing well yourself. And also, how is your family, loved ones, and friends? They're all doing well, my dude. We're all very happy right now. I can say that for sure. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Appreciate that, my bro. Absolutely. Follow this guy's instructions. Absolutely love that. Love that from you all. How was your weekend? You had a great week. You'll never walk alone. Lovely chat, my dude. Yeah, I hope you're doing well as well, my friend, and I hope you've had a good weekend yourself. Not a bad weekend. Been working, so yeah, could have been better, but at the same time, spent some time with family and stuff, so wasn't bad at all. As well as that, so yeah, a bit of a mixed weekend, to be honest. Like, not great working, but also not bad in terms of spending time with loved ones, as we all should do. Welcome along, Nishvan. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, my dude. I do apologize if I'm not. I butcher names. I am terrible with names. I do apologize, but I hope I've got that kind of right. But welcome along anyway. Love that you're here. It says, love your channel, but you're not getting Isak. I mean, I appreciate the first half of the comment. Second half, look, we'll obviously wait and see. Look, Newcastle really could play hardball on us here and just keep him, despite him seemingly having his head turned and wanting out of Newcastle. Before the news last week that Isak had his head turned and said that he was looking at options elsewhere, I was 60-40 in favor of Isak leaving. Now that obviously everything has transpired in the past week or so, I am now 75-25. And the only reason I am 25% on Isak staying is just because Newcastle really can be horrible in these negotiations. Like, if they just turn around and go, nope, we're going to let him rot in the reserves, I think you'd be stupid to do so. But you go, he's got 3 years left on his contract. He's going to honor that contract. We're not going to let him go. He's tied here. He's staying here. He's at least going to remain at the club for at least 1 more year. That's the only way I can see, obviously, that happening. And Isak staying at Newcastle. Do I think that would happen? Probably not, because, as I've said all along, I think the bigger picture here is you sell Isak, you get a lot of money, it helps towards your FFP and your PSR stuff. You can reinvest that money into other areas of your squad, as well as obviously reimbursing your strike force. You still got a lot of money left over from the Champions League money. You've only really made one big splash, to my knowledge, I believe, in terms of Anthony Elanga coming in. So there's still a fair amount of money there to be spent. You add the Isak money on top of that. You still had 70 million that you were reportedly going to spend on Ekatike as well. So you still got a fair amount of money there, but you add the Isak money on top of it. You can go out there, you can splash the cash, you can be clear of PSR, and you will be completely fine in all of those aspects. Yes, you lose a big name player, but it might be a short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. Look at, like I say, look at what happened with Philip Coutinho at Liverpool. It absolutely hurt to get rid of him because of the quality player he was. But what it led to was the help in other areas to really reinforce the squad and to obviously make us better, improve us, upgrade us. And that's why we went on to be so successful with Jurgen Klopp at the helm. And obviously, like I say, with Virgil van Dijk coming in with that money and Alisson, of course, as well. But that's what I see from a Newcastle point of view anyway. That's what I see it from if I was a Newcastle fan. Big up Jordan is in the chat. Welcome along, my bro. Hope you're doing well. Guys, go and find Jordan's channel. He's doing some wonderful stuff over there. Something for everybody. Go and check him out. Doing some brilliant, brilliant stuff. Hope you're doing well, my dude. Hope you are well indeed. I'm confident that Qatar will come back in for us 10 billion plus, and they will pay off the debt and get the new stadium build. Come on, United. I think that's ship sailed, isn't it? You've got Jim Ratcliffe now, Super Jim, Super Ineos. Sure, that ship has sailed. Plus, I would imagine Qatari are probably looking at somewhere else now anyway. A lot of other intriguing prospects elsewhere, I think. I kind of got that from that super chat, to be honest with you, bro. Kind of got that from well, not super chat, but I kind of got it from the last chat. Kind of got it. LFC fan, what's up, my dude? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming along with us on this. I don't know, this kind of dull Monday afternoon, I guess. Kind of dull. Hope you're doing well, bro. Anyway, lovely to have you along with us. Big up Ozan is in the building as well. Big up to you, my bro. Lovely to have you along with us. We're getting Isak, aren't we? And follow that up by Ozan saying it's really happening, isn't it? It seems that way. It really, really does seem that way. I mean, like I say, I am very much on the under the impression, should I say, that Liverpool will be signing Alexander Isak this summer. The more and more that everybody keeps talking about it, the more and more the stories and the links and everything comes out, the more and more that I am convinced by the day that Alexander Isak will be a Liverpool player at some point during this transfer window. Now, I'm not 100% sure when that will be. I'm not entirely sure when that will happen between now. Is it September the 1st that the transfer window closes? I want to say it's like September the 1st, maybe the 2nd. I believe it's somewhere around about then. But between now and then, I would strongly suspect that Alexander Isak's going to be a Liverpool player. It's just going to be interesting how Newcastle play this, because do they bring in the replacement first and then accept the bid, like what Bournemouth did a little bit with Milos Kerkez? Or do they take a gamble and go, we'll accept it, and then we'll find a striker? It's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out, because at the moment, Newcastle are being rejected here, there, and everywhere by everybody. And if reports, like I say, are to be believed today, then it does seem as though there's a potential that Benjamin Sesko is the latest player to have rejected Newcastle, as he seems to be favouring a move to Manchester United, which I think would be a decent enough move for Man United, in my opinion. I think it actually would be a decent move for United, Benjamin Sesko. But at the same time, that is yet another player that has rejected Newcastle. Another player that has rejected Newcastle. You can add that on top of the list of Brian Mbeumo, who rejected them for Man United, João Pedro, who rejected them for Chelsea, Hugo Ekitike, who rejected them for Liverpool, James Trafford, who rejected them for Manchester City, and now it seems you can add onto that list Benjamin Sesko, if reports are to be believed. Oh, it's weird time, crazy time. You're waiting for Qatar to donate 10 billion. Yeah, United fans can dream, can't they? United fans can absolutely dream on that. But players, we also desperately need another senior first-team centre-back. Absolutely. And I think we will get it eventually. I think we will get that centre-back eventually. I think it's going to be... I think it is going to be Mark Gahey. I've been convinced all summer that it is going to be Mark Gahey. And if we end up with needing a second one because the Joe Gomez injuries continue, maybe we can't get rid of him because no one wants to take a chance on an injury-prone player as of right now, we could look for some sort of loan deal, I guess. I guess somewhere out there, it could be possible that we do get some sort of loan deal. But we shall see. Maybe even 2 centre-back. Yeah, absolutely. It could be the case. Big up Mira's in the chat. Welcome along, my friend. Hope you're doing well. She says, big up to everyone. New subscriber here. Really do appreciate that, my friend. Welcome along. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you enjoy the content here. So big up yourself. Thank you very much for subscribing. It really does mean a lot to me. So really, really do appreciate that, my friend. Welcome along. If we get Isak, we need a centre-back more than ever. Absolutely. I think that will be the next point of call. I think we will go after a centre-back. It's mainly because, like I say, we can get rid of Diaz and we can go, right, we need a new left winger. But if the worst comes to the worst with Gakpo, we can throw Szoboszlai out left wing. We can throw Wirtz out left wing. We can take a risk in a bit of a wild card, like I say, in Engamoa. Worst comes to the worst, who's to say that we can't maybe throw like maybe like a Kirkes left wing, Robertson left back? There's a few things that we can maybe try and do. I'm not saying that they're all viable options and long-term options, but like I say, if the worst comes to the worst, they're all possibilities at the end of the day. Like, it's not just down to we definitely need a left winger to cover for Diaz. And plus, we just bought Ekatike as well, who can sort of play on that side. It's not exactly, again, long-term and viable, I don't think, but it's an option nonetheless. And it's something that can definitely help towards that. Big up Luca Talks Dons in the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you along with us, my friends. Hope you're all good. It says, big up. It must be good for you. Good times for you. You're getting Isak. I really hope you're right, my bro. I really do hope you are right. But this is what I've been saying all summer. This is the kind of transfer window that I have been dreaming of. Just dreaming of for so long. Like, the frustrating times of missing out on the likes of Bellingham and Haaland and Tchouaméni and Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez and this player and that player and this player and that player, whilst being told time and time again, we have a war chest this summer. We have a massive transfer budget this summer that we're going to be digging into and splashing at will, and it never materialized. None of that stuff materialized. And now we're at a point where we're excited again. We're optimistic again. Every day there is something new. Every day there is something seemingly new to talk about and new to be intrigued by. We never had that last summer, especially. Last summer we're signing Mamardashvili in a year's time, and we're also getting Chiesa right at the end of the transfer window. Oh, and also we've put in a bid for Zubimendi, but apparently he wants to stay and watch the mountains in Sociedad or whatever it was. Like, there was very little to get excited about last summer. And, it kind of just added on to the years of frustration that we've had. Even when we won the league, there was excitement with the purchase of Thiago, but we were there like, we need a bit more. We need a bit more. We need you to push the boat out a little bit more. And it just never materialized. It never happened. Just a bit of breaking news, by the way, coming from Sky Sports. Aaron Ramsdale is reportedly in talks to sign for Newcastle. So it seems that after being rejected by James Trafford, Newcastle are still on the hunt for a new goalkeeper. Aaron Ramsdale is seemingly attracting the interest of Newcastle. I guess the upside for Ramsdale there is a likelihood that he won't be relegated again. if he does go to Newcastle. So that could be good for him. Is it a good move, though, for Newcastle? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Ramsdale to Newcastle, yay or nay? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling down in the chat. Mate, do you think Lucho going to Bayern surprised you? I'm going to miss his song. I am so going to miss his song. I'm really going to miss his song. I'm kind of got mixed feelings and mixed emotions about Diaz leaving. I feel like it was the right time, right time to leave. His inconsistency frustrated the living hell out of me. I know that obviously off the pitch issues and injuries really did halt his and stutter his Liverpool career, because the first 6 months or so that he was at the club, he was unbelievable. But at the same time, I feel like it's a good move. Did I expect us to get 75 million euros for him? Absolutely not. So that kind of surprised me in a way. Bayern Munich were somewhat after a winger. We know that. So I guess they did turn their attention to him. And obviously it proved to be too much of a difficult financial package for Barcelona to get done. So, yeah, there's a lot there to be intrigued by. And like I say, I'm a little bit surprised at the money more so than where he's gone. I mean, the last Liverpool winger to go to Bayern Munich didn't exactly have the best of times, did he? Sadio Mane. But this one could be different. I think he's going to do all right there. I think he's going to do all right, especially playing alongside the likes of Harry Kane, for example. I feel like he'll do well in the Bundesliga. Liverpool getting Isak, maybe Guehi, but do you think you need a new centre-back now Konate is staying? We definitely do need a new centre-back. Especially because I feel like if we bring in a new centre-back now, not only does that give us 2 years to sort of bed in that centre-back for 2 years' time when Van Dijk eventually moves on, but it also gives us time to work him into the squad with obviously Konate. His injury issues aren't exactly amazing, and I do think we need to keep Konate on his toes, because there can be times where Konate's concentration does go a little bit out the window. And not only that as well, like I say, Gomez is injury prone. So we definitely need a new centre-back to keep Konate on his toes and to obviously keep the sort of injury concerns somewhat a little bit more at bay in terms of that aspect. Apparently, Kwanzaa had a really good debut for Leverkusen. I haven't seen it. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know if he did or not. I hope he does. I hope it all goes well for him. Of course, we still have a buyback clause. We have a buyback clause that won't be activated until 2027, I don't think. So I hope he has a good couple of years at Leverkusen. And, you know, if he turns out to be an incredible defender, fair play to him. And who knows? Maybe he could be back at Liverpool one day. Who knows? It'll be very intriguing to see and to find out. Where are we at? When we get the new stadium built, everyone is going to want to come to us. Biggest club in the world and the best stadium in the world. That's Manchester United. It's all right having a very good stadium. It's all right having your pull for right now. But the more that you don't win big honours, giant honours, league titles, Champions Leagues on the pitch, the less and less pull you will eventually have as time goes on. And, you know, we've seen with Spurs, like, if you want to separate the two, having the best stadium in the world doesn't exactly mean players will want to go and play there necessarily. Tottenham Stadium is state of the art, and, you know, we've seen no one really cares, with all due respect. Like I said, I hope it all crashes and burns for you. Really do. From the bottom of my heart, I really do hope it all crashes and burns for you. From one Liverpool fan to a United fan, I hope it all crashes and burns for you. Anyway, Liverpool, do you need to get Isak? Even when you sold Nunez and Diaz, you get Isak. Absolutely. Get a couple of these players out the door. Shift them on. It's like I say, it could be a very intriguing transfer window ahead for the final stages at least. Isak, Gahey in, maybe one more player after that, and then maybe focus on getting some outgoings in terms of like, you know, the Nunez's, maybe Tsimikas, Harvey Elliott. I think with Nunez, by the way, just kind of a take from me, I think it's going to be one of them situations where Nunez probably goes out on loan for somewhere in the region of like £10 million for a season. And then we probably lose him for like 40 million with an option or obligation to buy for next season to the club we eventually loan him out to. I feel like this is one of those situations that the longer it drags on, the more of a reality that's probably going to be. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a loan move for Nunez, which will then turn into a permanent move in the next year. But we shall see. We shall see. Liverpool always get what they want. Clubs like Liverpool, City get their players. We don't. Arsenal, we don't get any. Well, you got Gyökeres, bro. Eventually, I mean, I wouldn't. That's nothing to be sniffed at. I get what you mean, though. I think for you mainly it's player sales. I mean, your highest player sale is still Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain from about, what was it, 6, 7, 8 years ago for 40 million. And then I think your next player sale is like, or your next top player sale was like from 1999 or something, Nicolas Anelka. I could be getting the times completely wrong, but it's something along them lines anyway. But Arsenal don't sell well. So you are right. You don't sell well. But the issue you've got is that if you go another year where you don't win anything, that might not necessarily become an issue because you do have assets there to sell. And players might want to eventually leave because maybe that Mikel Arteta Kool-Aid may run a bit dry next season. So if you don't win next season, the upside is your player sales might be decent. The bad news is... Sorry. The bad news is that obviously you might lose some key players. William Saliba, maybe Gabriel even. Maybe one or two more. That's the problem with Arsenal, unfortunately. We don't always get who we want. Who does? Unless you're Real Madrid, and even then, on the very rare occasion, do they get who they want. It's all right for some. It's all right for some. Isak, Liverpool. Imagine Wirtz assist to Isak through balls. Absolutely. The insane creativity we're going to have next season is just off the charts. Like you say, Wirtz, he looked good in that first 45 minutes the other day. I know it's pre-season. I'm not reading too much into it. But even then, like, you would expect him to maybe a bit sluggish, maybe a little bit match sharpness, missing a little bit. Some of the passes and some of the movement he was doing and pressing from the front as well. That was the one bit that I was impressed with more because I know what he can do on the ball. It's what he can do off the ball that I was mainly intrigued by. But his pressing from the front really did impress me. And like I say, his creativity is just something that I know about. He's obviously made a big reputation from it over in Leverkusen. It's definitely intriguing. Like you say, you pair that up with Kirkez from the left, Frimpong from the right, McAllister from deep, Soboslai wherever he chips in throughout the course of the season. And of course, whoever we got on the left in Gakpo or Ekatike or whoever, and of course, the main man himself, Mo Salah, that is insane. That is absolutely insane. The creativity, the goal scoring output, everything is unbelievable. Simply phenomenal. It's just insane. It is just insane. Goes in cycles. Absolutely. It does go in cycles. And Newcastle's going down next season. Big take from Mia there. Anybody agree? Anybody agree that Newcastle are going down next season? I personally don't. I think that they will have a stronger squad than at least three of the teams in the Premier League. So as long as you're like the fourth worst team, you're fine. But I still think they'll finish higher than that. But a big take from Mia there. Yeah, they did. They definitely did get Gyökeres. It's going to be. I'm slightly caught in two minds about Arsenal. We're going to have to talk about it later on as the transfer window goes on. But I'm slightly caught in two minds about Arsenal for this upcoming season. There's something about them that I'm not completely sold on. But at the same time, if a bit of luck is on their side, it could go really well for them. I'm just a little bit up and down. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Appreciate that, man. If you could all do that, guys, that'd be really appreciative from me. Really do appreciate you guys all being here on this Monday afternoon. Really do appreciate it. You guys are absolutely awesome. Xhaka apparently to Sunderland as well. Like, yeah, that's a good move for Sunderland. Premier League experience. That's a big move for Sunderland. Many of these newly promoted teams, they take chances on players that are young, fresh, that might help them in more the long term. They kind of go, right, well, we're not really going to stay up this season. So what we'll do is we'll build a team for 2 seasons time where we'll yo-yo back down to the championship and then come back up and we'll have a stronger team that is more united and more gelled together. But that's a big move. That is a lot of leadership. That is a lot of experience there. I don't know, maybe we could be seeing a break in the trend of the 3 newly promoted teams coming up to go back down again. I don't know. Maybe that could be the case for next season, at least one of them to stay up. But I'm intrigued. Just while we're on this as well, I put out a post earlier regarding fantasy football. Anybody doing fantasy football this season? I'm intrigued to know. Anybody doing it, because I'm intrigued to know what your teams are looking like already. I'm intrigued to know if you think that anybody is going to have a better season than what they're currently rated at, if anybody's not going to quite hit the level that they have in previous seasons or what is expected of them. And most importantly, I'm after your team names. Does anybody have any good creative team names for this season in terms of fantasy football? Let me know in the chat on that as well. Comment, share, like, subscribe. Appreciate that, my bro. Thank you very much. You are awesome. We get Gyökeres, yes, but Arsenal need top-class wingers. Rodrigo staying now. Liverpool will be unstoppable. Isak, Ekatike, Salah, Wirtz, Gakpo. You could win the Champions League. We're going to be strong contenders for it, no doubt about it. But anything can happen in knockout competition. What I will say on the Rodrigo stuff is I still think there's something in that. I still think there is something a little bit in that Rodrigo situation that's not completely dead and buried. So I wouldn't put it past him still leaving the Bernabeu this summer. Let's put it that way. I reckon we get as I wouldn't be. The only thing I can think of is that Chelsea swoop in. That is the only thing I can think of. Is that Chelsea swoop in and manage to take him off out of your grasp, which would be big for Chelsea if they do. I don't exactly know where he'd fit in at Chelsea, in all honesty. I'm still not entirely convinced he'd fit in at Arsenal, but at least he could fit more so in the left wing position at Arsenal than I think he would at Chelsea. But at the same time, like, that's the only sticking point. I still think you get Eze though. I do think you get. I still think you get him. Big up to Spirit of Liverpool Football Club fans. Big up to Liverpool LFC fan. If we get Eze, it'll be a 6 out of 10 window. What about if you add Rodrigo to that? If you add Rodrigo as well, I'd say that probably goes up to 8.5. And then I think one more player just for depth, maybe. I'm intrigued. Because I want what's best. We all want what's best for our clubs. I completely understand where you're coming from. And I do think, like, I do somewhat agree with you. I do think, like, if this was last summer and you bought Gyökeres, I'd say you were ready. But I think as the years gone on, I think there are certain issues with Arsenal that have developed, that have become bigger. And I think it's become a little bit more than just, we need a number 9, we need a striker, and then that's it. All our problems are solved. So I 100% understand where you're coming from there, my bro. Big up to AR is in the building. 6 out of 10, that's like a 9. Intriguing debate going on between you guys. Real Madrid are the biggest club in the world, so that's wrong. Fair enough. We shall see. No, they are, to be fair. They are, to be fair. I mean, factually, they are. Unfortunately, unfortunately, they are. That is the unfortunate reality of the situation. Unfortunately, Real Madrid are the biggest club in the world. I don't like it, but unfortunately, they are. In terms of success, in terms of their global reach, in terms of their fan base, everything. Unfortunately, they just are. In our minds, though, it will be Liverpool. So, yeah. We can take that. Doesn't matter what you think, to be fair, it's facts. Real Madrid are big. I have to agree. Unfortunately, I have to agree. Towards Jordan there. Cool. Bless you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Arteta Kool-Aid has been rolling. It's true though, isn't it? It's true. This Arteta thing, it's so strange to me. It's so weird. It genuinely is. Like, I don't understand. It's not just players as well. It's fans. They treat him like he's the Messiah or something. There's this weird cult-like religious following. I feel like every turn with Arteta, I feel like he's always got something to say. He's always got some sort of little, I don't know, line or phrase or word to kind of get fans on board and excited, and it's weird to me. It's very weird to me. I don't get the following. Like, I think he's a good coach and a good manager. I feel like he's very good. He's just not what Arsenal fans think he is right now. They think he's like elite. They think he's like challenging like Pep and Klopp and stuff. And it could not be further from the truth. But every single time, it's like he could do the most stupidest and weirdest things, and there'd be still Arsenal fans in their numbers backing him. He comes out with these weird things. Like, if any other club had gone through 5 years of spending about 800 million and won nothing, they'd be calling for their manager to be sacked. Most Arsenal fans, to my knowledge, are not. And why? Because for whatever reason, they believe in the manager because he comes out and he says weird stuff and he does weird stuff. Things with light bulbs and getting speakers to play You'll Never Walk Alone at the training ground and squeezing oranges or lemons or whatever. It's like, it's weird, bro. It's weird. Like, if Pep Guardiola was to do it, we'd all sit there and be like, you know what? This guy may be a bit mad, but he may actually be onto something. Why? Because Guardiola's actually been there and done it, wore the t-shirt and won stuff. This guy tries it, and we're all there like, what is he doing? This guy's weird. Like I say, Arteta Kool-Aid. If he doesn't win anything, it's going to be dry next season. It's going to be dry. They're always bottling the league. Hopefully they do it again. City and Liverpool. It could be again. Arteta might not be blind, but for him, football isn't about titles. It's not about titles until he wins it. It's not about titles. It's never about anything until you win it. You know how, like, before City won the Champions League, they had claimed that winning the Premier League was bigger than winning the Champions League until they won it. Arteta's going to be, if Arteta and Arsenal do win the league, they're going to be absolutely they're going to be just insufferable next season. Absolutely insufferable. Arteta especially can just sit there in press conferences, be smug and be like, yeah, oh, who's laughing now? Unbelievable. Only 34 people watching. Yeah, and I'm grateful for each and every single one of them. Doesn't matter. Like I say, 34 more than I was expecting, and it doesn't matter. I'm grateful to each and every single one of them. So big up to everybody that's watched so far, been watching, are watching, and everything else. Really appreciate it from each and every single one of you. No, I meant it as a joke because Ramsdale. I got you now. My bad. I'm not the brightest, as you can tell. But yeah, I get it. With these players, we are giving Salah new contracts. Hey, Salah. If Salah keeps on doing what he's doing, who knows? He could be playing until he's 40. If Salah keeps doing what he's doing, keeps himself in tip-top shape, both mentally and physically, he could be. Who knows? Where are we at? I'm definitely putting Isak in. He's going to bang for us. I hope you're right. I really do hope you're right. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because he's going to be worth a lot of money. I'm talking fantasy football here. He's going to be worth a lot of money. So to put everybody in, it's going to be very, very difficult. I'm sat here debating like Wirtz, Shirky. I'm sat there like debating like, do I put Haaland in this year? I don't know, man. Fantasy football is going to slap though this year. It's going to be difficult. I don't know. It's so difficult to decide. I hate it. Ekati Cake is a banging name. Anyone feel free to say Ekati Cake. All right. I rate that a lot. You're way better than I show speed, and you gotta get to Anfield. Have a pre-season ticket. I need to go Anfield again. Like, even if it's for a stadium tour, I need to go. I have not been in years. But yeah, I definitely want to go to a game at some point. I never find either the time or the financial well-being to do it. That's the problem. It's just annoying. But I will get there one day. Promise. Big up Ramat. How you doing, well, my friend? It's always that sweet talk. Not 100% sure what you mean, but I get it. Squeeze the lemon into the cup, guys. No, exactly. It's just weird stuff like that. It's like how the players can sit there with a straight face and not be like confused, or I don't know. It does baffle me. It does baffle me how the players can sit there with a straight face and just accept what this madman is doing. It's baffling. Connect to the light bulb. There's that one. It's strange. I don't know how we managed to get onto this topic, but I love it. I feel for Win the dog. I want to go around and just bring him home. It does feel like Win the dog needs to be rescued by the RSPCA at that point. I don't really know if for his well-being, if he's okay or not. I don't know whether that was to like inspire them to win, inspire them to get across the finish line or whatever, a dog, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's either the dog's not done its job or Arteta hasn't. I'm really confused. I don't know. That would be lovely to get to 1K. Would be lovely too. But we're just going along for the ride. We're just going along for the ride. I really do appreciate each and every single one of you being here. It's lovely to talk to you about football because, you know, it's just great to get away from real life and just talk football with anyone and everyone. So that's the main reason for this channel, was just to talk football, just because it's awesome to do and I love it. But yeah, like I say, we're just going along for the ride. We're growing every day, it seems, trying to put something out there every day in order to obviously keep things going and keep the wheels spinning. If it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. If it doesn't, it doesn't. No problem with that. I'm just enjoying what we're doing right now. So yeah, I really do appreciate though every single one of you being here, whether it's the subscribers, whether it's the people that are currently in the chat, whether it's people that are currently watching. Whatever it is, I really do appreciate each and every single one of you. What's the benefit of the lemons in the cup? All I can think of is lemon juice going into your eye. Doing tequila shots. Rate it. No, wait, that's lime, isn't it? That's not lemon, that's lime. Never do lemon in the eye. That's not good. That is definitely not good unless you're a bit, crazy. I love Labradors too. Also have to have one. They're cute. They are adorable. Labradors are amazing. All dogs are amazing, but Labradors, yes, very, very lovely breed of dogs. And we appreciate you too. I appreciate you more, bro. I appreciate you more. Thank you for being here. Love you guys so much. If Gyökeres doesn't score against United, he is a flop. Could you imagine, though, right? Let's just throw this scenario out there, right? Sesko goes to Man United before the first game of the season. Man United take on Arsenal first game of the season. Sesko lines up for United. Gyökeres lines up for Arsenal. Sesko grabs a hat-trick first game of the season. Sesko against Gyökeres. Man United versus Arsenal. Man United win. Sesko's man of the match. And after all of that Gyökeres or Sesko stuff for Arsenal, it's first blood to Benjamin freaking Sesko. Oh, that would be amusing to me. That would be absolutely amusing to me if that was to be the case. Anyway, Luis Diaz. He's going to Bayern Munich. There was a bid accepted yesterday, somewhere in the region of 75 million euros, which works out at just around about 68 million pounds or something, I think. I don't know. I'm not very good with maths or exchange rates, but either way, he's going to Bayern Munich. It's done and dusted, pretty much. He's going to have his medical tomorrow. They're going to be tying up the loose ends there. And yeah, it closes the chapter of Luis Diaz at Liverpool. Look, it's mixed emotions for me. For me personally, mixed emotions. I'm going to be very sad that we can't really sing his song much anymore because his song was amazing. And I absolutely loved to just have it in my head day after day, constantly singing "His name is Lucho. He came from Porto. He came to score. Score. But no, I really did love that tune. It's going to be sad not to sing it anymore. But as the player that he is, look, we had him for about what? 4 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, something along those lines. He won us a couple of League Cups. He won us an FA Cup, or he helped win us an FA Cup. And of course, he's helped us towards Premier League glory. He came good last season when it mattered. Overall, though, his inconsistency was frustrating. And as I mentioned earlier, there were issues with that. There was obviously injuries. There was outside interferences of very serious topics and things of that nature. But overall, for a 29-year-old winger who shows inconsistencies on a somewhat regular occurrence and basis, for a player that we signed for roughly 40-odd million, to get 3 years out of him, including a couple of big injuries, and to sell him for 75 million euros, that's massive. That the financial and business side of things, that is a massive, massive sale for Liverpool. Like I said, I'm a bit surprised that we managed to get that kind of number for him, but at the same time, sometimes you've got to be ruthless with these kind of decisions. And as well as that, you've also got to think, is this for the benefit of Liverpool Football Club? Now, as the player he was, like I say, he was very inconsistent. He would turn up on some occasions and he turned up to score some big goals for us. There's no doubt about it. But I feel like his time did come to an end at Liverpool. I also don't think it helped that, you know, the stories of him missing Diogo Jota's funeral, along with the fact that he was out partying instead in Colombia with, various celebrities at some sort of celebrity function, was in horrific and bad taste for a teammate, especially when the rest of the squad was showing solidarity and unity by all paying their respects, tributes, and obviously going to the funeral itself. And then, of course, it transpires a day or so afterwards that he'd actually been talking to Bayern Munich, and that allegedly a move was being made in the works there between the player, his people, and the club itself. So not entirely crazy by the way that he's left the club, but at the same time, I did feel like his time with Liverpool had come to an end. I thank him for the first 6 months of his Liverpool career being absolutely unbelievable. Like, everything he touched turned to gold pretty much. He took his player on every time the ball was fired into him, no matter what angle, what speed, where his body positioning was. It seemed to just stick to him like glue. He was unbelievable. He showed incredible technical ability. He showed plenty of excitement, plenty of skill, flair, all of that stuff. And he does have that. He does have that still within him. It's not as consistent. It's not as constant anymore as what it used to be. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is with Luis Diaz. And like I said, I think Liverpool have done really well. I'm sure he's going to go to the Bundesliga. I'm sure he's going to absolutely kill it over there, especially because most of Bayern Munich's competitions are having their squads absolutely ripped apart this summer. So he's probably going to thrive over in the Bundesliga, in all honesty. He'll pick up a couple of at least 2 or 3, I would imagine, Bundesliga titles, maybe a couple of German Cups as well before the end of his career. So he's at least going to beef up his winners' medals between now and the end of his career. But good luck to him. Fair play. And like I say, it's good for Bayern Munich. They get the player that they want. Luis Diaz gets the move that he wants. He gets to move on to a different challenge. And as for Liverpool, we get big money for a player that we probably had the best years out of. And we can move on to, with all due respect, bigger and better things in the form of this. Liverpool's Alexander Isak bid is reportedly incoming, people. Reports are building. Reports are snowballing. There is speculation that Liverpool and Newcastle will meet this week to discuss the Alexander Isak situation, and Liverpool are expected to test the waters with an opening bid to the Magpies. I'm intrigued. I'm excited. I'm intrigued. I want to know how quickly this can be wrapped up, because like I said earlier, this seems to be a deal that is going to be done at some point. I'd be very, very shocked if it's not. I wasn't expecting this, especially after we signed Hugo Ekitike. I was not expecting us to go and get Alexander Isak as well, but it is looking like it's a strong possibility that Alexander Isak will become a Liverpool player at some point during this transfer window. Oh my God. Reportedly by Sasha I can't even pronounce his friggin' name. Sasha Tavolieri. He says that Liverpool FC have scheduled a meeting with Newcastle this week for Alexander Isak. Liverpool hope to convince the Magpies with a £120 million offer plus bonuses, which would roughly work out at about 138 million euros. Personal terms are okay. We've heard that time and time again. So personal terms seem to be no issue on this matter whatsoever. And as I've said previously, they wouldn't have been an issue anyway, because Liverpool have already approached Newcastle once already. Liverpool would not have approached Newcastle if they didn't think that personal terms were going to be an issue, or that Alexander Isak didn't want to move in the first place. I've thrown that out there. I want to see the Newcastle fans back. I miss them. I want to see them here. They were very quick to be here to try and shut these things down when we first started talking about Isak to Liverpool. And I think I've done a couple of streams since, not including this one, in regards to Ekitike and or Isak. And they've not really been back in the chat since. So I'm very intrigued to know where they've gone. I want to see them back because I want to know what they're thinking right now. They were thinking a few weeks ago that they were going to see a lineup of Ekitike and Isak. Well, they might be, but it won't be for them in black and white. It will be for Liverpool in red. So I'm intrigued by this. I want to know how quickly we can wrap this up, especially because, as we've pointed out, we have one or two other areas that may need addressing as well this summer. Centre-back, Mark Gahey, prime example. But I'm intrigued. I want to know how quickly we can wrap this up, how quickly things are going to move here. Is this going to be a sense of once Diaz is done, we are going to then, and by done, I mean there is no way back. It's all done, dusted, and made official. Are we then just going to go, right, there's the money, slap it down on the table, take it or leave it, that kind of thing with Newcastle. Behaving like a big club. It's what we've wanted. As Liverpool fans, this is what we've wanted from our club for so long. Are we finally going to get that? Marco's in the building. Well, welcome along, my bro. Hope you're doing well. He says there are countless pictures with Diaz and Jota embracing each other and celebrating. I am sure they were good teammates. They were absolutely. I remember when Diogo Jota scored in the game. I think it was the game after. It was either announced that Diaz's father was kidnapped or was rescued. I can't remember which one it was. But he held up Diaz's shirt as solidarity. So they are definitely good teammates, which doesn't, again, it just doesn't bode well for me that he would do something like that to show solidarity to a teammate, but the favor wasn't necessarily reciprocated in that respect. It did sort of strike me as very, very odd. Rest in peace, Diogo Jota and Andre Silva. Still hurts to think about to this day. Absolutely. It still doesn't even feel real, does it? Absolutely crazy. Yeah, absolutely bizarre circumstances. Really, it still doesn't feel real. Still does not feel real. You can sense that. Ten Hag is in for a hard time. Big expectations from fan base after period with Alonso, but there has been an exodus of quality and no replacements. It's going to be interesting to see how they rebuild. I mean, I don't really know too much about Leverkusen. Do they have a good youth setup? Are there some good youth players that are going to be coming up? Have they found a few hidden gems here and there that are going to turn into absolute superstars? I'm not sure, but Leverkusen could be an interesting watch next season, that's for sure. I was chatting with some Bayern fans last night, Fletch. They rate the Lucho signing as a 6 out of 10. I would probably agree with that. I would agree with that because it's a 75 million euro signing for a 29-year-old. Which for Liverpool is fantastic business. But considering that, not Man United couldn't even get Marcus Rashford to leave properly without him going out on loan to Barcelona. And even then, if his loan move turns out to be a success and Barcelona trigger the optional clause in Rashford's contract, they're only going to sign him for about 40 million. And I think Rashford's at least a couple of years younger than Diaz, and I think he probably has a slightly bigger reputation maybe than him, with all due respect. But yeah, it's a big move for Liverpool. That's all I'm really bothered about. I couldn't care less about Bayern, to be perfectly honest. Like, Bayern, go ahead and do them. And to be honest, like I say, I feel like with the rest of the competition in the Bundesliga seemingly being ripped apart, Bayern's main focus should be on the Champions League. And I don't necessarily see Luis Diaz, with all due respect, being a bit of a needle mover in the Champions League. I just don't, unfortunately. Like I say, can be a very, very good player on his day, but the inconsistency is, not quite there. It's just a very good move for Liverpool at the end of the day, which I am more than happy to go along with. Most of them believe that Bayern are massively overpaying for Lucho. I think they are, but they were. Thing is, who would they have gone for? If they really wanted a left winger that much, what were the alternative options? I just want to know what would have been the other alternative options that would have been realistic. Because off the top of my head, Luis Diaz is the only one really that's, won things, got the experience, got the know-how, been there, done it. Like I said, the other alternative would have just been Rashford. But Rashford seemingly had his heart set on going to Barcelona. So really, in that kind of position that Bayern were looking for, there was only really one choice. And Liverpool obviously knew that Bayern had a lot of money to spend because they were willing to splash 100 million on a certain Florian Wirtz. So the Wirtz deal helped us again because we knew because Bayern had already shown their hand in the negotiations of that deal because they were willing to splash 100 million. So we sat there and went, we know you've got 100 million to spend. We know you want this player. We know that the market isn't exactly full to the brim of established quality left wingers. So if you really want this player for this position, you're going to have to bump up the price a little bit. And that is exactly what we did. We played a bit of hardball with them and we got exactly what we wanted because we've got smart businessmen. And I was too quick to not see it last year. I was calling them out left, right, and centre. But I can't deny it. This year, we've been smart. We've been focused. We have been so thorough in what we have been doing in terms of looking at the squad, looking at and identifying the areas that need to be strengthened, the players that we need, the player types that we need, the versatility of those players, the qualities, the attributes, the pros, the cons, all of that stuff. It's worked in our favour and it has done wonders, absolute wonders for us this summer so far. It really is exciting times. Big up N90, hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you along with us. Great to have you along with us, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Bush Baptists. Sorry, bro, I butchered that name then. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Welcome along. It says, how you doing? Good times, really, really good times. Yeah, absolutely, my friend. I'm doing well. I hope you are too. Thank you for joining us on this Monday afternoon. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited by all of this. I really, really am. I can't. I've never felt this way about a transfer window before. And yet here we are talking about potentially an earth-shattering, monumental, perfect transfer window that doesn't even seem to be over yet. And even if we do get Isak, probably isn't going to be over then either. There are probably going to be one or two other players that may come through the door. So we shall wait and see. Isak throwing toys at the pram. Bit disappointing towards Newcastle fans, but otherwise can't blame him. He knows he is easily the best player and he wants to play in a better team. Here's the thing with things like this. Players don't help themselves in these types of situations. Players don't necessarily help themselves in these types of situations. Players that go to teams like Newcastle should understand the gamble that it is to go to a club like that, where if you back yourself highly, you could become a big fish in a small pond, which would mean that you are going to be headhunted by a lot of big clubs that are going to be, with all due respect, bigger than Newcastle, better than Newcastle, and ultimately in a better position to win trophies than Newcastle. If players like Isak have ambitions to win trophies, they're obviously going to want to eventually move on. Which means to me that if you back yourself to do that, and if you see Newcastle as a bit of a stepping stone, with all due respect, you should be putting release clauses in your contract. Because how many times have we seen this type of thing happen where the club has simply turned around and gone, you ain't going nowhere. You're staying here. You're honouring your contract. You're going to help us before we help you. How many times has that happened? Look at what happened with Harry Kane at Tottenham, for example. Look, think about how things could have been so different had Harry Kane gone to Manchester City in the summer before he eventually did leave. How things could have been different in terms of maybe Erling Haaland might not have gone to Manchester City. Maybe Erling Haaland would have gone elsewhere. Maybe he would have gone to a Real Madrid. Maybe he would have gone to a Liverpool, for example. Things could have been different had all the things turned out like that. Look at what happened with Jack Grealish. Understood that he wanted to leave the club, Aston Villa, so what did they do? They put in a new contract. And in that new contract, they honoured Grealish's wish that should a Champions League club come in for him, they have to pay a certain amount of money to get him out of Aston Villa. That was a smart move. Look at what happened this summer with Victor Gyökeres. A reported gentleman's agreement was supposedly not fully honoured. Players need to learn that gentlemen's agreements and signing long deals without any sort of get-out clause, or realistic get-out clause, should I say, is going to hinder you in the long run if things like this happen. Because then you have to sort of play the disrespectful card. Like, Isak probably didn't want to do this, and it's been reported that Isak didn't necessarily want to do this. But these opportunities aren't going to come every day. Next season, who knows? Maybe Ekitike takes off on an unbelievable way that we go, you know what? We don't really need Isak. We've got Ekitike now. Maybe there's another striker that comes to the boil and is just as unbelievable as Isak. And we go, Isak's great, but we're going to focus on this guy instead. So there's so many things there. And I do think that release clauses in contracts are going to become more and more apparent with certain players, because we're seeing this kind of thing happen all too often now. And I know that the fans of teams like a Newcastle and Aston Villa and things like that will probably turn around and go, it's not fair because we can't compete on the big clubs level. We can't do this. And there is a sort of element of truth to that. But eventually Newcastle will be in a position to do that. And Aston Villa aren't exactly skint either. They have a lot of money themselves. And I don't see them doing this kind of thing when they're hounding people out, when they're chasing people. As a community, football fans are hypocrites. It's just who we are. We're very tribal. We're very hypocritical. We like seeing things from our own perspective and from our own club's perspective. And everything that we see from our own club is all sunshine and rainbows for the most part. And we see it through rose-tinted glasses. And everything that we see elsewhere with other clubs is wrong, which is why I try and be as fair and as consistent as I can when I talk about these things. It's why I said when the Trent Alexander-Arnold situation was all kicking off, it's why I said, like, I can see it from both perspectives as to why Liverpool fans are angry, but I can also see it from Trent's perspective as to why he would want out of Liverpool and want to move to Real Madrid. Because I just knew that later on down the line, we'd be in a transfer situation where we're trying to hound out someone of another club and get them to leave their club for our club. And people would turn around and go, well, you didn't have this energy for Trent, so why you got it for this guy? And I knew that would happen because I also know that on the flip side of things, those same people that were crying about their player were probably not crying as much and were probably confused as to why Liverpool fans had this same amount of energy, whether good or bad, for a Trent Alexander-Arnold. I realized it was a very long and weird tangent. I hope you kind of followed me on that. I really do hope I kind of made myself clear. I do these things where I just ramble, and I hope some of it made sense. Really do hope some of it made sense to you. But you get what I'm saying. We're as a community, we're all hypocritical. We're all a bit, crazy. And at the end of the day, whether you're for your club, against your club, in certain situations, it's difficult to be consistent. But I'll always try to be. I'll always try to be. And in this situation, like I say, for Isak, it's a case of, again, if Isak had the foresight to put a realistic release clause in his contract, he wouldn't be needing to. He'd be okay to leave and venture out on his own accord and be somewhat respectful to the Newcastle fans. But because that's obviously not happening, and because that he probably sees this as being an opportunity that might not present itself in a year's time or whatever, he wants to do it now. He wants to leave now in order to seize that opportunity. So, let's say we shall see. Were you surprised that Liverpool lost to AC Milan, even though it's just a friendly? I think when you see the team, especially in the second half, not really. I mean, playing Tsimikas as centre back and Ben Doak as our striker, some of our youngsters out of position. No. Like I say, we're still bedding in some players. We've still got players to come in. Obviously, we've still got to get McAllister back, and obviously Ekatike is going to be joining the fray very soon. So, not really. But results don't matter in pre-season. It's about performances. It's about whether or not you can see certain things that are going to be happening for next season. It's about getting up fitness, of course. Results aren't important. It's about seeing patterns of play. It's about seeing how you're going to set up for next season. It's about who's going to start where, who's going to be doing what are the roles of the players, that kind of thing. Results in pre-season, I'm not bothered. I'm really, really not bothered. I'll tell you who did seem to be bothered, though. Certain Arsenal fans. Certain Arsenal fans online. And again, I mean, it's probably not a good barometer to measure fan bases by looking online on various social media sites, particularly X. Still Twitter to me, goddammit, but yeah, it's probably not a good barometer to measure certain fans online, but there did seem to be a lot of Arsenal fans that were tweeting about the Liverpool result, which I found interesting because until the final whistle went in their game yesterday, I didn't even know they were playing. I didn't even know Arsenal were playing, but seemingly Arsenal fans had it marked on their little calendars. Today, Liverpool are playing AC Milan, and we'll be there when they lose, if they lose. Whereas I couldn't give a damn about Arsenal and, at least their pre-season. I really couldn't care less. But for some Arsenal fans, they were very amused that Liverpool seemed very open to the transition, very open to the counter-attack, and obviously conceded 4 goals. Whereas a few days ago, they obviously played AC Milan and they beat them. Seemingly not convincingly by what some fans were saying, but, it is what it is. Certain Arsenal fans are a weird bunch. Certain ones are. Some are actually really good. Some are actually really good, and I have a lot of respect for. But certain ones are very, very strange. Very, very strange. Well, I tried. What is going to happen is you're going to have to bear with me with certain things because I will ramble. I will go off on many a tangent, and I hope that I eventually get my point. But if I ever do ramble enough where I go completely off topic and I'm just rambling about whatever, you're going to have to go in the chat and try and bring me back to the original point because my memory's terrible and my mind ventures everywhere that you can think of when I talk about certain things. So you're going to have to like bring me back to the original point and try and help me help you clarify my point. Because sometimes it's just all over the place. So I do apologize if it was. Sometimes we aren't aware of our own double standards. Absolutely. Like I say, I think football fans are the worst for this. Football fans are the worst for being hypocritical. Like I say, we can all look at our own teams and see things through rose-tinted glasses, and we can think, oh, yeah, what we're doing is great. And then someone will try and do the same thing that we've done to our own team. And then we go, oh, hang on a minute, you can't do that. That's wrong, that. Bit like how we're trying to hound out Alexander Isak. Newcastle did it a little bit, not to probably the fullest extent that we're trying to do it with Isak, but Newcastle seemingly tried to do it with Anthony Elanga. Newcastle fans don't seem to necessarily have a problem with that, but they kind of have a problem with us doing it to Isak. In the same way that, I'm not saying everybody, again, certain Liverpool fans are annoyed that Real Madrid constantly harass Liverpool players, but yet we're doing it to Isak and people are seemingly fine with it. It's just hypocritical, and everybody does it. Everybody does it. Doesn't make it right, and at the same time doesn't make it necessarily wrong. But like I say, that's why I try, and a lot of others, to be fair, try to always be consistent with these types of things. We always try and be fair, and we try and see things from both points of view, and we try to obviously get to a point where we're like, okay, I can see what you're doing, I can see what we're doing, let's try and see from both angles and come up with a solid reasoning as for why. So we all do it. We all do it. We all do it. Do it. As Emperor Palpatine says. Chancellor Palpatine at the time. Anyway. Just checking, see if anything has dropped since we've been live on Isak, or anybody for that matter. Also, I asked this the other day as well. When did Indicalia become a decent source for news? Can someone honestly answer me that question? When did that happen? When did Indicalia become a decent source for news? Like, legit. I remember people being like, "Oh yeah, well, you know, if Indicalia says something, don't listen to it. It's absolute fake and it's rubbish and it's just terrible journalism or whatever." All of a sudden, this guy has gone. It's gone to turbo settings on transfers, and all of a sudden, he's even more reliable, seemingly, than Romano at this point. He's seemingly more reliable than Romano at this point. It's bizarre. I don't know when he became like a top tier journalist, but seemingly he has. Deluded Steve, how are you doing, bro? Hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you along with us. I'm all good, man. Hope you are yourself. Hope you're doing well, bro. Welcome along on this Monday afternoon. But yeah, Indicalia, what the hell is going on there? What the hell is going on there? Doesn't seem like anything is new, but I would probably suspect that once Diaz is done, dusted, confirmed, signed, sealed, and delivered, I would imagine that that's probably going to be the point where we go, right, let's turn the heat up on this. Be interesting to see if that is going to be the case. Apparently, Nottingham Forest are potentially targeting Adama Traore. According to Santi Auna, Newcastle are preparing an opening bid of 72 million euros for Benjamin Sesko. That's going to be an interesting tug of war. I mean, like I said earlier, reports are that Sesko would prefer a move to United over Newcastle, but depends on obviously United's financial situation, doesn't it? I guess that would be the only sticking point as far as what a move to United may hinder on. Romano backed up the Ramsdale stuff. He said Ramsdale's already said yes to Newcastle, and official bid has been sent to Southampton. High loan fee, salary covered, and buy option clause. Southampton open to accepting, but want higher fee. Deal expected to happen. So it's probably going to be a loan move then for Aaron Ramsdale. Seemingly what Romano's hinting at there with high loan fee with buy option clause. So going to be interesting how that one's going to work out. What would be hilarious, like what Mia said earlier, is if Ramsdale goes on loan to Newcastle, gets Newcastle relegated, goes back to Southampton, who got promoted, and then they go down with him as their goalkeeper. That would be bizarre! That would be bizarre. That would be bizarre. I'd love it to happen, though. Has there been anyone that's been relegated about... How many times has he been relegated now? About 3-4 times. Has there been anybody that's been relegated more? Interesting trivia there. I'm interested to know. I probably could Google it, but there's no fun in just Googling everything. Sometimes it's just more fun to speculate off the top of your own head. I'm interested to know. He works at KFC too. Respect him. Who works at KFC? Me? I don't. I want to know who works at KFC. I'm intrigued. The training photos in Tokyo are just boss. Just love it. I'm so glad the season's almost back. So glad everyone's back in pre-season training. So glad we get all this preparation and stuff to talk about again. I'm looking forward to the new season, man. I'm looking forward to it so much. It's exciting times. Love it. So yeah, we will obviously talk more about the Isak situation as it happens. Still 3 weeks till the season starts. Yes, it will be, won't it? Yeah, it was 2 weeks on Friday, I think. Well, 3 weeks on Friday would be. Yeah. 3 weeks on Friday it starts. I think the Community Shield is 2 weeks on Sunday. I want to say Sunday. They might have moved it to a Saturday now that I've said it out loud, but I feel like they always do it on a Sunday. I want to say it's Sunday. But yeah, I feel like the Community Shield is 2 weeks on Sunday, which will obviously be the traditional curtain raiser for the season ahead. Then you'll have about a month before the transfer window closes. You get 3 games there. And then, of course, all that momentum stops because of a pointless, ridiculous, stupid international break. So, yeah, it's what it is. Oh, Indicalia works at KFC. Right. I don't know if that is genuine or not, but no idea. It could be. I don't know. It could be. Maybe he's like moonlights as KFC worker or something. Or moonlights as whatever. I don't know. I don't know, but all I know from the guy is that he was not to be trusted. About a year ago, the guy would be big breaking Liverpool news coming up in about an hour's time. And then it would be something that everybody was either talking about from like days ago, or it would be something that was completely made up and just fake. And now all of a sudden, it's like he's getting everything right. He's getting everything right. And everyone's going like, oh, Romano's had a shocker this summer. Romano's not exactly the reliable Romano that he used to be. So it's like, what is happening here? What is genuinely happening with football journalism and people getting the inside scoop first and foremost? What is happening? Someone tell me. I'm confused. So confused. Anyway, I feel like we're going to call it there. I think we're going to wrap it up there. We talked about Isak. We talked about Diaz. I've had a fun stream. I've had a very fun stream talking with all of you. Big up to each and every single one of you that joined us throughout the entirety of this just over hour and a half stream. Early predictions for Man United, Arsenal. I mean, it could be anything. You'd obviously back Arsenal, but opening game of the season, it's always a good time to face anyone. And it genuinely could be anything. It could be any result, any scoreline, and I genuinely wouldn't be surprised. I'd probably go with Arsenal win so far. Just so far. But I feel like Man United's season could change if they went out and got a striker and a goalkeeper. I feel like if they got those two things, like Man United's season could be seemingly turned around as being very dull and uninspiring to then going to be like very optimistic and very open to anything, because I feel like the top four are locked in right now. I feel like the top four for next season are very, very much locked in, as in Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea. May not necessarily be in that order, by the way, but I feel like those four are the teams that are locked in for top four. But a signing here and a signing there, for a number of teams, not just Man United, but for a number of teams, could maybe get them that fifth spot, which of course could mean that they get the potential fifth place coefficiency thing for the Champions League. So that could be huge. Could be huge. Early predictions for versus actual squad number. I'm going to make a prediction that he's either going to get 12 or 15. Or it could be 27, actually. 12, 15, or 27. I'm going with one of those three numbers. 12, 15, or 27. Sounds like I'm doing the lottery, but I'm not. I'm not. According to Sky Sports, Luis Diaz is currently on his flight from Tokyo to Germany to complete his £65 million move to Bayern Munich. Hopefully all goes well there and everything goes off without a hitch and he becomes a Bayern Munich player at some point in the next 48 hours or so. I feel like Onana is not that awful. He is under a huge magnifying glass. I don't think he's awful. I think, you know what? I think if Onana was to go to a, with all due respect, lesser club than Manchester United, I feel like he would do well. So I 100% agree with you. We saw him at Inter. He was very, very good at Inter. You don't just lose that by going to Man United or anywhere for that matter. You are a decent goalkeeper. I just think the pressure probably has got to him. I feel like maybe, I don't know, goalkeeping coaches may not exactly be the best there or something. I don't know. I don't know the full extent of the story. Maybe there's stuff going on in his personal life. Maybe there's something that we're not aware of in the public yet, or maybe ever will be, as to why his performances have dipped so badly. But yeah, I agree. I feel like Onana's not a terrible goalkeeper. Let's put it that way. I just think he's Onana. He's Onana. But yeah, I do think that United's outlook of the season could change with a striker and a goalkeeper being brought. They make a big deal about Gyökeres getting Henry's number as if Nketiah did not win. To be fair, though, are you really going to highlight that Nketiah wore that famous number? I mean, as Liverpool fans, we obviously praise and hold dear to our hearts the number 8 shirt. But let's not forget, there was a certain Naby Keita that wore that shirt. Would you be bigging that up? Would you be bigging up Naby Keita wearing one of the most famous numbers in your club's history? I'm certainly not. I'm certainly not. I'm not sat here praising the number 8 shirt of Gerrard, and formerly worn, I believe, by Emil Heskey, if I'm not mistaken. And going, yeah, Naby Keita also wore that. Soberside's wearing it right now. And I rate Soberside, by the way. I'm big up to him. But at the same time, I'm not sat here going, that Naby Keita wore that as well. Rashford to Barca is such a strange one. Puts Lewandowski, Torres, or Rafinha Yamal on the bench. The good thing with Rashford is that although I don't rate him playing up front, he can play there as a short-term solution. So if, for example, Lewandowski does get injured, you can obviously use Rashford in that position. Or you could maybe use Yamal or Rafinha as maybe like or even Ferran Torres, like you say, as a false number 9 / makeshift striker. So there are plenty of versatile options there for Barcelona to use. Is it a strange one? Absolutely. But it's a financial one more than a logical one, isn't it? Let's face it. A loan move with an option to buy of, 35 to 40 million, something along them lines. It's just a financial thing. You wanted Luis Diaz, but financially you weren't going to get him. So you go to a cheaper option of Marcus Rashford, who may have a little bit more to his game than what Luis Diaz does, especially on the versatility front. I think Rashford's going to kill it. I think Rashford is going to do well in a different league. We saw what happened with Anthony going to Real Betis. how much of a different player he looked. I think a change of scenery is going to do Rashford the world of good. And therefore, I think Rashford would do well at Barcelona. Have you realised a surge recently in Success fans claiming to be Liverpool fans? Saeed TV has been saying there is a lot coming out of the woodwork. I can't say I have. I don't, or either that or I've just not been paying close enough attention. I don't know. Is he just saying stuff to try to stir things up? I don't know. I don't know whether, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't know whether this is something I need to look more into or what the case is. But I can't say that I've seen too much of this, to be honest. I really can't. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I imagine with all success there are some fans that are a bit glory huntery. You know, there are probably some fans that have probably switched allegiances because their own club's not doing well, and then they've gone, I'm going to support that club instead because that club are doing well and they're making all these signings and, you know, they're winning all these trophies and silverware. But like how, you know, certain Chelsea fans did that when City started winning stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there are a few like that, but you're going to get that everywhere. It's not just going to be Liverpool. It's going to be certain fans that do that with other clubs. But like I said, I can't say I've seen too many. I can't say that we've seen too many. Or maybe I'm just not looking hard enough. I don't know. I don't know. Can we all still trust Romano after the Gibbs White here we go fail? This is the thing. Is that really on Romano? Because to his knowledge, it was here we go. To his knowledge, it was here we go on Gibbs White going to Tottenham. The problem is that a day later, Forest went, oh, we can somewhat threaten legal action here and maybe put Tottenham off. And so they did. And then Tottenham got scared because to me now, it seems as though Tottenham did obtain that information somewhat illegally, because otherwise, if you didn't, why wouldn't you just continue to pursue the deal? So they clearly did obtain that information illegally, and they didn't pursue it. They didn't pursue it any further. They backed off the deal. If anything, it's more on Tottenham that are embarrassed than Romano, because the information is that was a done deal. Tottenham triggered the release clause. Gibbs White was very much open to joining Spurs. It was all going to go ahead until Forest threatened legal action. And now it seems that they've backed off completely. And of course, now that it's out in the open that there was a 60 million release clause in Gibbs White's contract, Forest had to move extremely quickly to renew that contract. Now, whether a new release clause has been installed or it's been wiped out of the contract completely is something that they will know. And I don't think it's been reported on as of yet, but that's not to say that that release clause is not in the contract or not. But yeah, there's a lot there to be. The story is very intriguing to say the least, but I don't know why a lot of people are putting the blame on Romano for this. Romano's just talking and giving out the information that he's been told. Like, that should have been a done and dusted deal. Once you hit the release clause, that's it. That's a done and dusted deal as far as what I'm concerned. But Forest threatened legal action. And rather than just go, well, we've done nothing wrong, so we're just going to ignore it, Spurs backed off, which says to me that they were guilty. So, like I say, if anything, it's Spurs that are embarrassed, Spurs that somewhat can't be trusted, and Forest have covered their tracks very, very quickly. Unless I'm missing something, I'd like to know why people are saying that this is Romano's fault and he can't be trusted and everything. It does seem a little strange to me. If you are Xhaka, why would you want to go to Sunderland? It seems imminent. Back in the Premier League, maybe got some unfinished business there. He's also what? How old is Xhaka now? He must be 30, 31, right? He's 32. He's 32. So maybe not a lot of clubs will probably taking their chances on a 32-year-old. But for Sunderland, it's a decent move. Like I say, got plenty of experience, plenty of leadership qualities, good knowledge of the Premier League proven. And like I say, I think it's a very, very decent move for Sunderland. I think it's a very smart move. I don't know if he'll still be the same Granit Xhaka that obviously saw him leave Arsenal, especially in his final season. But considering that he's going to be playing for Sunderland, the team that's going to be battling relegation, I think his leadership qualities are going to be very much coming good usefulness when Sunderland are battling down there. Man United playing in the USA purely against mid-table Premier League sides seems unnecessary. Happens every year, bro. Happens every year. Normally, Liverpool are out there with them. But for whatever reason, we decided to go Tokyo this year. But yeah, usually we're in the USA as well. Normally we play United as well. I think this is probably the first year in a number of years we've probably not got a friendly against United. I still remember the friendly where Shaqiri scored that overhead kick. Damn. What a time. What a time that was. But yeah, like I say, all of these things seem unnecessary. It's all for PR. It's all for, brand growth and, keeping good relations with certain brands and companies and things that sponsor the club and certain fan bases and exploring outreach. It's why Tottenham go to South Korea every year because of Heung-min Son. United obviously go to USA because Glazers are, Glazers. Arsenal go to America as well from time to time. I don't know if they've been this year. I don't know where they've gone this year. Like I said, I couldn't care less. And other places include like China and, like I say, Japan and even sometimes Australia and places like that. So, yeah, it does seem unnecessary, but yeah, I say it's mainly to keep brands happy and to obviously keep those kind of ties and relations going strong for certain clubs. Business, all about business. We're going to wrap it up there, guys. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me on this Monday afternoon. Really cannot thank you enough. You guys have been absolutely awesome. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Both of them will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Obviously, get involved in what will now be the chat down below. Use and abuse that section, people. Talk to me on anything that we've talked about in the video, or talk to me about anything that you guys want to talk about for future videos. Maybe you've got something lined up that you want to talk about. Maybe there's something in the pipeline that you want to talk about, whether it be transfers, whether it be about predictions for the season, or anything of that nature, really, or any breaking news story that I've maybe not covered in any of these videos. Maybe there's something that you guys want to talk about. Get involved in the chat, in the comment section, and let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling about any of those stories, combined. Would love to hear from you all on what you have to say about all of that and much more. Otherwise, thanks everybody for watching, listening, liking, subscribing, and getting involved in the comments. You guys are absolutely awesome. I cannot honestly thank you enough for the level of support that the channel's received. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I cannot thank you enough for the love and support I've received. Yeah, you guys are absolutely outstanding. I cannot honestly thank you enough. Really do appreciate each and every single one of you. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks live stream, and I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you all again very, very soon. Peace.